That sound is the sound of CJ. Opening is...
I was trying to do it without the mic picking it up.
No, you failed miserably.
I'm trying to break off a section of Toblerone without damaging my fingers.
What kind of Toblerone are we talking?
It was in the fridge. White chocolate.
What?
It's the only chocolate
I asked you what
eat.
kind of Toblerone is it, and you define that by where it was being kept. What kind of Toblerone is it? In the fridge. Fridge Toblerone.
No, I was still talking and you cut in. White chocolate Toblerone.
That's the sort of thing that
I soon answered. You weren't listening to that point.
You did. This is the first episode in our series of... Is it a series? And are we allowed to call it series if it's episode 1? Because there's no guarantee we'll do episode 2, is there?
A prequel to another one.
That's even wronger, I think.
Yeah, probably.
This is Tea and Biscuits and Gnomoria. So this series that I want us to do is kind of where one of us, or both of us sometimes, plays a game, slow-paced, it's chilled out, the sort of thing where you don't necessarily need to provide a running commentary the entire time. And we'll, I don't know, we'll have a look at news.
Might fall asleep.
Or do a topic. Yeah, we might just have a nap mid-video. This is how you get a large amount of content on YouTube, to be honest. You do...
have a nap.
You have a nap. Just leave the video running. People will watch anything.
Yeah.
How's the volume? Is Simon gone? Did he
Big
come
Brother
in for 2 seconds and he's
everything.
buggered off? We had one viewer before we'd even started.
That's the
doing
nature of it, though.
It is. People are
It can
fickle.
go either way. Yeah.
People are fickle.
Come
so
back, you fickle.
You fickle.
That's what made him come here in the first place.
Yeah. Because he was. Yeah. To be fair, that's fickleness got him here. So
Yeah.
who are we to argue?
Got him where he is today.
So we're gonna play some. Oh, I'm gonna play some Gnomoria. You've bought this game, right?
Mhm.
You own
But
this.
I don't know what the.
You're allowed to swear on
I
Tea
don't
and
know what
Biscuits.
to do.
Tea and Biscuits
Alright.
and swearing and
I don't want to
Gnomoria.
swear on my team. Biscuits.
So we both got a brew. What are you drinking? Hang on.
big
Let's start
massive cup of
Gnomoria. Should we start Gnomoria?
All right. No more of your pish.
Um,
The wordplay.
I'm gonna do.
No more of this. No more of your chit chat.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna capture
Yeah.
the. I'm gonna change it. So
Are you
that
going
we
to
can
load
see.
a game? Are you going to new game? Are you going to change the options? Or are you going to exit? And
There's my
waste
mouse
everyone's
cursor.
time?
There we go. We can see it. I'm gonna go new
I can't see
game
it.
because what best place to start than the beginning?
In the
Nope.
the
What
new
better? What better
beginnings.
place to start than the beginning? So the
I don't know.
sucked land. I'm going to randomize that. Squid face. Let's go with that. Kingdom size standard. Difficulty normal. Well, let's go to advanced setup. So here, what I might do for ease of making this video is change it to peaceful, which means you get no baddies coming in, and it's just about building a sustainable living habitat
Right.
thing.
environment. I
If I were
remember
to-
I'm
Go
about
on.
15 seconds behind you.
That's true. It doesn't matter. That's why we play a
So-
slow-paced game, because you're watching on the
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
So Kingdom Seed, here you can just enter some numbers. So CJ, give me some numbers that are close to your heart that are not part of
7.
your Gmail password. 7,
28.
28. These are all multiples of 7 so far.
32.
Nah, you fucked it. Wait, is it?
Grey. I know it's a colour. Can you put in a word? No.
I can do it
4.
in text speak. 4.
971.
971. That should do for our seed.
Yeah,
All right.
that'll do it. That's my lottery numbers. I've just decided.
Well, now
I don't
everyone's
play
going
the
to use
lottery.
those, and when you win the lottery, it's going to be split amongst
Yeah.
more people now. You stupid.
True. I'm going to lucky dip it then.
All right, generate.
If I play it again.
So Gnomoria,
Everyone else is using them.
what? Give me your description of what you think Gnomoria is.
It seems like Minecraft, but it's all automated. Point and click kind of.
There are blocks. I'll give you that.
You tell them it's like Terraria. You tell them to build things, but I was trying to give them orders to build little things, and they just ignored me and they did their own thing, and that involved just running around, chopping trees down. Maybe I
Usually
didn't wait
you would
long
have
enough.
to tell them to go and chop the trees down. To be honest.
All right, I just hit play or something, and they all started running about, and yeah.
You do have to give them orders. They will just dick around unless there's specific jobs defined.
Yeah, I
So,
tried to build things, and it showed you like a kind of semi-transparent version of what I wanted to build, as if it was just in a queue, where they were going to get round to it, but they didn't build them.
So
So I
this
said,
is
"Fuck this," and quit.
this shit.
Yeah.
So this is my world. I'm zooming up and down. So the first thing you need to know about
Ooh.
Gnomoria, the way it works is you move up and down through layers of blocks.
Yeah, I
and
worked at it. Yeah,
and that
yeah.
applies throughout the whole map. So I'm moving around here. You can see that as I move up a layer, that's a hill, and it's going to come to a point.
And the
There's
top of the
that
mountains
hill.
disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I scroll up, there's the top of what looks to be the highest point. No, there's still yet higher points. Maybe this here is the highest point. Okay. Keep moving around. Alright. So I appear to have found the highest point. But it doesn't matter that
Yay.
much because you spend a lot of your time underground. Because this is about gnomes, CJ.
And they are not dwarves.
Not dwarves, no, because that'd be racist. Is that racist? Are they a race?
Is it?
Dwarves are
To
they are
say
in Lord of the
word
Rings. They are.
dwarf? Yeah, it's a race.
A race in Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's a race in
And it's a
in
food.
real humans though.
Yeah,
I don't think you can say that. You can't say they're
Yeah.
a race, CJ.
It's midget. You can't say, and I just said it. So
I mean, but you can't say dwarves are a race. That's like saying people who are left-handed are a
Yeah.
race. It's just a fact
Right.
about them.
can you prove that they're not?
How do we define race? I'm not doing this with you.
Or they're a characteristic then?
Yeah, characteristic.
Whatever. whatever
Like
you
being a
would call it.
fatty.
But in like Tolkien, it's a race. Tolkien type.
It is. Elves are a
folklore.
race. Mans are a race.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's where we were at that. That's where I was getting at.
Okay.
And they're a race of miners. What about gnomes? Are they miners as well?
Apparently, yeah,
that
to
what
be
you're
honest,
getting
I
to?
can see why you'd be confused because I'm Tolkien in that way. I think of dwarves as being the ones that
What
live
are you
underground.
Tolkien about?
We like to have a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We've all had a laugh, but let's calm down a bit.
Okay.
So
Reel it in.
yeah, exactly.
Take it down a notch. Can
I
the
like
beans.
to think of dwarves as the ones that live underground in mines and survive
Yeah.
off the land in that fashion. But this is gnomes. Who are we to argue with the lore of this game, though? About
They
I
can
mean
do
both
what they
the
want.
LAW and the LORE.
Yeah.
So the point of Gnomoria is to exist in the same way that I guess you weren't wrong with by saying Terraria and Minecraft. You are in
Right.
an area and you have to forge an existence, and that's
the
about
terrain.
it. In the terrain, yeah. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of bushes here. That is a wild strawberry plant. We have different types of trees. Apparently, the birch trees result in better quality stuff. Eventually, you'll get traders coming, maybe, I think. And if you've used birch wood to produce wooden things, that'll get a higher price than using pine trees. But
Shit.
am I right in
remember
thinking
that.
it may be that pine trees grow back faster? That might be the trade-off, because when you chop down a tree, you also take clippings and you can replant those trees, and then eventually,
Right.
once
Much
you've,
like
Much
Terraria,
like real
Minecraft. And real
yeah.
life also, yeah.
Can you do that?
Forgot
Can you
about that.
replant trees and things in Terraria? I really didn't play enough.
Yeah, you get acorns from the trees,
Right.
as well as the wood, so you can replant them.
So the thing with this game is there's not just you're not a gnome. You are kind of it's more of a god game.
Several
You
gnomes.
give orders.
Yeah, it looks populous-y, and
Yeah.
there's people to...
You set jobs for the gnomes
populate.
to do, and then they bugger off and do them. So what I want to do is, because I'm going to be
But you
underground
don't
anyway,
you don't actually like click where you want them to go. They just go and
you don't select
move
a gnome and
themselves
say
a
go
bit.
over here. You set a job in a certain area, and the job allotment system built into the game will decide which gnomes go off and complete that job and which gnomes go and do something
Right.
else. It's all priority lists and things like that. And you can
But
actually
that's
set.
automatic.
No, you can actually set that. So if I
You
go
assign the jobs.
into this guy, there's two people standing on that square. So I can go to him and choose his profession. And these are the actual things built into the game. And you can actually go back and create. So if I want someone, it makes sense for someone to be good at, let's say, producing beer and producing wine. And
Yeah,
they're
of
in the
course.
same
That would be
area,
the-
they use the same machinery, they're always going to be wandering around the same little zone. So it makes sense to make that person do those jobs together. So you can go through and create a job, a career kind of thing. And select all those things that are related to each other, and it also depends on where you put things in your world. So if you think farmers should be the same people that then go and use the things they farmed to cook, would be useful. You want sort of a cooking area of your world to, it's effectively you're maximizing efficiency, right? So you have someone
Sounds
who
like
goes
a lot of scope for messing it all up. Though.
yeah, a
You
lot of
get a
scope for
farmer who
stupidity.
also is the doctor
Yep.
and
Yep.
also builds roads.
And then when you get later on into the game, you sort of have people whose job is assigned to be the military, but when there's no fighting to be done, you set a low priority on them. Maybe they can go and do construction or mining or whatever.
Right.
But then as soon as something to kill shows up, they leg it, and the priority's higher to go and fight that. So they drop their shovels and pick up their swords, I guess.
Yeah.
So before we continue with any of that shit, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'll set a few jobs. So I'm going to tell them to go into agriculture and tell them to forage. So from here, I can just select a whole area, and all those green squares that are showing up, squares that have something on them that can be foraged. So I'm going to end up with a load of strawberries. Then after that, I'm going to say terrain, and then remove ramp, because these little areas here have this sort of diagonal ramp thing. So I will go through and get rid of some of those, because before you can dig through, you need to make that a flat surface. And then I'll just press play, and off they'll go.
Right.
It's going to save, and they are going to bugger off and do things. What are you drinking, CJ? Because this is tea and biscuits, and the first topic is obviously going to be tea and biscuits.
Right, so I'm drinking my tea, but I'm really wanting a bit of this Toblerone. But
You can do it, don't worry about it. It's a chilled out little show / episode thing, isn't it?
I know, but it's 100% solid concrete Toblerone. Toblerone.
So I'm drinking. For the first episode, I've really committed sacrilege. I'm drinking
Coffee.
blendy tea.
Yeah.
Do you like blendy?
I don't know if I've ever tried it.
Really? So blendy, for those who don't know, live in Japan, and I'm not sure if it's sold anywhere else.
Yes, I broke it. sorry, continue.
So blendy is. What is blendy?
Shit,
Blendy is like instant powdered crap that comes in sachets. But I have big boxes of it at work, and it's cheap, and I just sit there and pound coffees while I'm at work. So I don't know if you're watching the stream anymore. You might just be concentrating on your Toblerone, but I just designated an area as a stockpile.
It'll come up in a moment.
It will. So I want to tell
That's
them
cool.
to
I can look away, and then you can tell me when to watch. Right, stockpile, and then drag an area. Oh,
yeah. So I'm selecting those few squares, and I've told it to be a
so
stockpile.
just keep all their shit there.
Yeah. So within there, I can go and tell it what kind of stockpile to be, which is what I've just done. And that will mean...
How do you do that? Right click on it or something?
Just left click, and then the box comes up. When you click on an area that has something in it, a little box will come up. So this just says dirt floor and has nothing else. So they will then prioritize putting all the dirt and soil and crap they dig up into one area, which means you can keep it tidy. I mean, that is just me.
You don't do that?
It's just me being anal. I don't like piles of dirt everywhere. So instead of having one pile
they
of
just
dirt,
put them anywhere then?
Yeah, they leave them where they were dug from, basically. Instead of having loads of piles of dirt everywhere, you can stack up, I think it's 30 pieces of dirt onto one square if you stockpile it. So obviously it makes it tidier. So I'm going to go into terrain, and I'm going to say mine walls, and I want to go straight horizontal into this mountain, because I've decided I want to exist in this mountain for now. So the way the selection works is you can see a kind of faded away, because when I scroll up and down like this, I'm selecting because I'm digging. There's a difference between digging and mining. If you mine, you're
making a hole in the ground.
Yes, you're going down. So mine will be digging is going down, whereas mine is horizontal in a way.
Oh, so, right, okay.
Depending on what you can see, that is the layer you have selected. So I've zoomed all the way down to this layer where my gnomes are running about. I'm going to kind of treat this as my 0 layer, and it is actually depth 0 in the game as well, just coincidentally. So I'm going to dig through this wall in a line, This is going to be sort of the spine corridor. Lovely stuff.
Tea sound.
Of my little area. So the people whose job it is to be miners prioritize going through and digging that, and the other people who have a higher priority of tidying up stuff are then going and getting the bits of dirt and stacking them in the stockpile area. I don't know if you noticed,
get that out.
2 of these blocks are red rather than brown, so we've got mostly soil. But then on this block here, we've got a clay wall, and clay can actually be used later on for different materials and stuff as well. So that is my
What's the red one? Sorry, say again.
clay. So it's just a different material when you dig through it.
Is that useful?
Yeah, you can make pots out of it and
Pots.
stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone loves pots.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So using the clay, you can make big vase type things that you keep all your liquids like milk and stuff in. In fact, speaking of milk, I think I have yaks. Up here, there should be some yaks. So I'm going to designate an area to be somewhere to keep the yaks, which would be a
Stockpile them.
pasture. I'm going to stockpile my yaks all day. Animal,
Euphemism.
of which you have 2. So there we go. Someone's going to go and grab the yaks and stick them in the little area and say, "Live here, yaks."
Don't you fucking move, right? I'll be back with a stick.
As I was talking about mining and digging. So mining, it works with the layer that you're currently on. So this grass here is, I think of as, it's a strange game where it almost feels 2D, but it is 3D. So the thing I'm selecting is a cube. It's a cube that sits on top of that grass that I can see. The layer I'm actually working with is this layer here where the soil walls are. But because they've got things above them, you can't see anything there. So it's strange to get your head around at first, but then once you get used to it, you're good. So my cursor here, when I'm pointing at the grass, is red because I'm telling it to dig through an area of space where there is nothing to dig through. If I was to stay on the same layer, and switch to dig hole, I can now select the grass because it would dig down basically into the next layer.
So it's an isometric 3D cube.
Yeah.
You're trying to do an action on.
It sounds like it shouldn't be an issue, but sometimes it gets fucking confusing when you're trying to dig stairs and things like that.
Select the right thing.
Yeah. So let's say I'm gonna fuck this up definitely. But let's say dig stairs down. And we can turn that. Press R to rotate. And I want to dig these stairs. See, that actually wouldn't work because I would need to dig out the wall first. So terrain, mine wall.
Can't wait till this catches up.
Very excited, isn't it? So I'm just going to click this one wall here. Get rid of that. So my miner's on her way. She's going to get rid of that wall. And then in this little alcove that I've made, I'm going to go mine, terrain, dig, stairs down. Now these stairs I want facing that way. And I want to put them here. So if you imagine being a gnome that lives here, you're going to turn to your right and there will be a bit of the wall that's been dug out and you're going to look down and there will be stairs in that direction. Now I'm going to move one layer down. So we can see you've just got basically some stairs and nothing else. The stairs don't go anywhere. You just go into a sort of hole. Yeah.
You haven't mined it yet or dug it?
So yeah, now I'm going to go mine. Now I'm one layer below and I can go, okay, clear out all of this.
Shit. So.
And it might be that my miners are now asleep. I think they are. So I'll speed up time. Right then. Since computer games are boring.
Yeah.
This is tea and biscuits. What is your what tea are you drinking? You said you've got brew. You weren't specific. Is it just Ceylon? But
it's just Lipton, just normal tea.
Not none of that lemon chai.
Nah, just normal tea.
All right. So
milk and the sugar.
Let's say you're just having normal English breakfast tea, Ceylon, whatever you want to call it. Do you have milk?
Is that what Tetley tea is? Ceylon
Yeah,
tea?
yeah.
Because I've
Indeed,
never
yeah.
had to work out what kind of tea it really is.
Apparently it's Ceylonese.
It's just tea in the UK.
Yeah,
Just tea.
we just call it tea, and then anything else has a different
Tea,
name. Like Earl Grey
Thai
is called
food.
Earl Grey, right? When we say tea,
Yeah.
we mean Indian tea. Or whatever.
Fusions.
So
Wanky
now
tea.
my miners are digging out an area below. Oh, they found some blue stuff, which is what is that?
Very blue.
Lapis lazuli wall. I've never found this before in this game. Is that a metal?
Well,
I don't even know what that is. Raw lapis
yeah.
lazuli.
Lapis is Latin for rabbit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I found blocks of rabbit. I think you might be onto something there. Dipshit.
Well, I'm just
trying to be helpful.
I'm just giving you the info.
I don't
can't
like what I
see
hear,
it
is
yet
what I'm
for
saying.
a start. So give us a break here. There, I see it now. What's this?
So do you have milk?
Lazuli. I do have milk, yeah. Only a little bit left though.
Do you have sugar?
I have one sugar.
See, that's showing restraint. Having that one sugar.
Or one and a bit because the cup is massive. It's like 2 cups of tea worth.
So I've got the game sped up. I probably shouldn't have that while everyone's awake. You can see all my dudes are bringing out the bits of
Lapis
dirt from
lazuli.
underneath.
Oh, they are. Right.
So they're just cleaning basically now that the mining's finished. But it's inefficient because they have to go all that way back to the outside. So in theory, I should have set because I've only set that stockpile. I've only designated it to be soil. They've left all the lapis stuff, so I'm going to set another
A lapis
stockpile down here. I don't have
so
to.
lapis.
If I just set
lapis
stockpile and don't say what it, well, it'll ask me what it wants to be.
It will just put anything.
I can just put
fine.
goods, and
Whatever,
it'll be
yeah.
basically everything. Yeah.
In this case, lapis lazuli, sometimes abbreviated to lapis, is a deep blue semi-precious stone that has been prized since antiquity for its intense colour. There's
It
a
is very
photo
intense in
of
this
it in
game as well.
Wikipedia. It looks pretty amazing. Looks like it should kill you.
I'm going to make a
Or
note
it
of the
should be
time
radioactive.
because in the video version of this, I should go back and add in a picture of lapis, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Do you think I should?
Nah, don't bother.
It's worth it. Not worth it.
It's found in the mines in northeast Afghanistan.
Oh well,
Since
I'm
as
lucky to
early as
find
the
it here in
7th
Gnomoria
millennium.
then, aren't I?
Yeah, Afghanistan.
It's usually in Afghanistan.
The screen.
Yeah, and this.
It was used for the eyebrows in a funeral mask of King Tutankhamun.
Oh right, okay, that is
There
interesting.
you go. That's some real life shit.
So it's precious stuff. So that means when the trading comes about, me having this means that eventually I'll have workstations set up and things like that, and I can.
You make shit out of it.
Yeah, I can make jewellery and shit like
masks.
that. Specifically a Tutankhamun mask. That's what I
Yeah.
can make. Why is there a
That'd
yak
be
down
funny.
here? Get
If you
back to
see
your
one, then that's why.
pasture, you stupid yak bastard.
Yak off.
Yak right off. So, to make things like workstation. That guy's saying he's thirsty. Oh God. Oh, he's just thirsty. We have got drinks. So
Give him
I'm going
tea.
to.
Give him some of your tea.
I'm gonna cut the clippings of these trees so that I can replant them later on. I'll speed up the game. And then once all those clippings have been cut, I can then, with a clear conscience, cut down the trees to use them for wood. And then once I have some wood, down here I might build myself a workstation. So I'm gonna go to build workshop, crude workbench. Any log and any raw stone is what's required. I don't have any log at the moment because I haven't chopped any trees down, but I do have raw stone because I've done a bit of digging. And I guess maybe I'm going to end up with a lapis workbench, which is possibly not the most efficient thing to do. But I'm going to work with what I have.
A lapis workbench.
Well, not yet.
Could be good.
So I've set those as things that I want to have the clippings cut. So because I'm being impatient, I'm going to now also say fell trees. And I'm not sure whether they prioritize trees that have already been clipped or not. It looks like this one on the left over here is actually chopping down trees that haven't been clipped yet, so that's annoying. So usually you would have to clip an entire area, and once that's done and out of the way, then you would cut down the trees if you were trying to be completely nice and efficient and everything. But let's not bother with that. I'm going to move my face. That makes no sense. Oh, you can see the stream, so... edit.
Move the
There I
face.
go. Just so we can see the text underneath.
It's freaking me out, but actually after a while.
And everyone's asleep again. So I do actually have some wood. I have some logs here, but it's... What's it going to tell me if I click on my workstation? It's going to say you need 1 raw log. I have 28, and it's going to tell me I need 1 raw stone. I have 18. So it will be someone's job to go and get the stuff, bring it down to here, and then it'll be maybe someone else's job to build the raw workstation. You're talking to me in the chat. That's weird. It's really meta.
No, I'm
strange.
just, there's someone here. There's 2 people, so I'm saying hello.
Okay, there we go. Now it's gone green. That means someone has been tasked to do it. Yes, I've got a lapis workbench. That is the most expensive, crude workbench you can probably build in the game.
But it looks amazing.
It looks great, though, doesn't it? It looks fantastic. So, I mean, I'll let you choose. What do you want to prioritize? What should these people be focusing on doing for themselves?
Making weapons.
Go straight to weapons. What for?
Yak fighting.
Just murdering the yaks that produce milk for them.
No,
Fuck
they get
'em.
the yaks to fight each other.
Like an underground,
You're not going to be able to do
literally
that,
underground yak fighting ring. Maybe. I'm going to say maybe to that idea. Good idea. But
let's put it on the back burner.
yeah, back burner.
Let's go mining some more and go down more and make another room.
Okay. This is
See
something I
what else
need.
we can find.
Water. This is really easy because this happens to just be here. So I'm going to build...
Build a bridge.
Workshop? Food or drink? Workshop? Yes, a well. So any block and any plank. Now I think if I tell this to be built here, I think a plank can be made using the workbench, because building a well is one of the essential things that you need to be able to do, so they can use the crude workbench to do that. Not that they are, of course, because when you're trying to do an interesting video about a computer game, especially this game, your gnomes just wander about like dicks. So I've now only got 60 food and 107 drinks, so it might become an issue of dying at some point. No one's doing anything, frankly.
What?
So that's Gnomoria.
It's good. What else have you been playing recently?
I still... What's the date today? It's the 13th of January. Happy birthday, Mum. And I haven't yet decided on my games of the year. Most people seem to have gone for 3 or 4, is that right? And like one winner and then...
Too late. Nobody's interested anymore.
It's not too late. We're only halfway through January.
Last year's finished.
I was considering waiting until about March to decide. Because, right, to be honest, about... Of the list of games that I think would probably make my top 3, I've played about half, and I've played a lot of other things.
Right.
So
you haven't really played any games then to decide on a game of the year?
I have played games, but I haven't played all the ones that I want to have played before I decide on my game of the year.
So
I think
your
they'll
top
be on the list.
your top 3, you don't know which is the best? Which is your favourite?
Well, my current top 3 would probably be, off the top of my head, be something from this, Tomb Raider, Don't Starve, Assassin's Creed, Pirate Bums,
Yeah.
and maybe 1 or 2 other things. But the thing is, I haven't...
And Gnomoria could be a contender?
Yeah, definitely.
And which one have you played the most out of that lot?
Probably Gnomoria. Well, I've already put like 70 hours into NBA 2K, but it'd be stupid to give it that Game of the Year, wouldn't it? Especially when it got my Disappointment of the Year vote.
Why?
Because the PC version is a port of the 360 and PS3 version, rather than
right.
the next-gen version, which looks
version.
really nice. It's bizarre as well, because surely it's... I mean, I guess it uses the old engine, so they just changed the characters, all the rosters, and just put out the same game as last year, effectively. But we've heard so much talk of it being so easy to port from PS4 or Xbox One to PC, that I was expecting this latest version to be the PS4
A
version.
direct dump of that.
Yeah, and people are saying the PS4 version of NBA 2K14 is one of the best, if not the best looking game for the PS4. So I was really
Do you
excited.
think there's shenanigans going on there?
No,
Like,
I think that they're just
like they don't want the PC version to look as good as the next gen console version.
I don't think they would, unless it was a lot of money. I don't think they
Maybe
would
money involved in
do
it.
that. Yeah,
And it's
because
both Sony and Microsoft.
but as easy it is as supposedly is to port from PS4 to PC, it's even easier to copy and paste your source code and change the rosters, isn't it?
But you're saying it was a PS3 version?
Well,
I'm
I'm
last
saying
year's version of the PC
yeah,
version?
so they've copied it from
Oh,
yeah.
right.
It'd be easier for them to do that than port the new version to PC, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, if that's the case, it doesn't deserve to be in your top 3. Even.
Exactly. I think I paid $20 for it when it was like almost brand new. I mean, that's the thing with these NBA 2K games; they do come out at a lot cheaper than you would usually expect a brand new popular game to come out at. So there's always that. I think they're almost selling it, knowing that there's a sort of an agreement there that this is just an update on last year. So you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad.
We're not even going to chance it.
I put over 100 hours into 2K13, and I've put sort of just as well, not just as many, but I am putting just as many hours into
Same
2K14.
rate.
Yeah. So it's not the end of the world. But
You can't wait to get your PS4. Have you pre-ordered one yet, or you're not going to?
I'm not gonna buy it. Until there's 5 really good games out for it, there's no point in me buying it. It's just spending a lot of money on nothing, isn't it? If I upgrade my
I'm
PC,
kind of looking at seeing what game I would buy, and I don't know which one it would be yet.
exactly.
I
That's
don't
the way
know.
I see it.
I don't think I can be bothered with Assassin's Creed.
I've already missed the boat on
4,
being part of the the excitement of it being new.
Yeah,
So,
totally. But I'll be happy to get it though, because I'll have a good few free games to play, even if I don't buy one.
Don't Starve just came out, didn't it? And we are going to do one of
Yeah.
these videos where one of us at least is playing Don't Starve. And I
You
talked
might be
about
able to do it
this.
on the PS4.
I talked about this on the most recent podcast that I was on, which was 2 episodes ago. Don't Starve, you can play it with a controller, and it's got a really sort of low power version. So I've now got that Transformer Book T100 thing, which is
Oh right, you're gonna play it in there.
it's really high powered for a tablet, but it's low powered compared to laptops, obviously.
Yeah.
It runs like butter. I know butter doesn't run. It runs like paint. It runs
Molten
like cheap
butter.
hair dye. So
Butter in a microwavable slope.
that's I think that is the phrase, isn't it? It runs like
Yeah,
butter
that's
that's been in a microwave for about 15 seconds. That's what it
On a
runs like.
diagonal slope.
Yeah. So it runs really nicely, and I can just, because it's got a USB socket on it, this sort of transformer tablet thing, I can just stick a 360 controller in, sit back, and play Don't Starve on a bus. I mean, on Friday night, I'm taking a night bus to Nagano, and we're going to go snowboarding and stuff. I'm just going to sit on the bus and play Don't Starve all night.
If you don't get back to me, I'll assume the battery lasted 5 minutes.
It's actually a really good battery. Sitting and
but while
browsing
playing a game.
on YouTube and things like that, it lasts about 10 hours, which is better than laptops. And
Oh well, that's alright.
if I can get 4 hours out of playing a computer game with a controller plugged in, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? That'd be really good. Far better than,
that's
iPhones,
pretty
iPads. Maybe iPad might be
I think it's a
comparable,
lot of faffing around, to be honest, but yeah.
well, just plug it straight in. It's full Windows 8. It's full Windows 8.1, so I've got my actual Steam games running on it. It's like a full version of Windows, but with a touch screen and a detachable tablet thing. It's nice.
Yeah.
You should get one, is what I'm saying. You should probably get one.
Alright, I'll probably think about getting one.
So, yeah, that's that then. The most important question I wanted to ask you was, where do you stand on biscuits? What are your favourite biscuits there?
I don't stand on them. Crumbs will be everywhere.
Crummies.
Well, I was back in Scotland recently, so we brought back obviously a shit ton of shortbread.
Oh yeah, obviously. Is it coming in a tartan box?
Well, it's a kind of, never realised when I was younger, but it's a kind of Scottish thing. Yeah, tartan boxes everywhere. And shortbread's fucking excellent, man.
It is nice,
especially if you
isn't it?
drink coffee. It's good with coffee.
Good with coffee, but do you not find it dries you out a bit?
Yeah, but it gets you ready for your next sip of coffee nicely.
It's true. Some
So,
certain
I like to
biscuits,
bite a bit and then drink some coffee and then let it all melt.
lovely stuff.
Lovely.
There's a you have to be very specific when you're talking about biscuits because you're either talking about biscuits that you have with a hot drink, or you're just talking about eating biscuits, and they're two very different conversations. If
Yeah,
someone
it's a
tries to come
different
along,
situation. Yeah,
yeah, he's just
you don't
they're
eat tea
talking nonsense.
biscuits. You don't eat tea biscuits dry, do you?
Nah,
You
nah.
dip them in your tea. I
It's
miss
absurd.
them actually.
It's absurd.
I miss the
Rich
gunge at
tea
the end of a
biscuits,
cup of tea. Yeah, I know rich tea.
all that horrible gunk at the bottom. Do you like that?
Yeah, well, I don't like that
Like
bit,
eating
but
your tea with a spoon.
I love the challenge of trying to avoid the gunk.
You want a hobnob, my friend. That's what you need.
Hobnobs are good, yeah. You'll get gunk from a hobnob as well.
Ah, it's bollocks. Don't know what you're talking about. Hobnobs are the
Ooh.
kings of dunkers. You never seen Peter Kay?
So right, you're asking me what biscuits I like, but are we talking about Japan biscuits or biscuits we wish we could still get access to?
Exactly. I don't even
Both.
think I eat that many biscuits in Japan, to be honest.
They're pretty annoying.
They're not.
Each one in a individual plastic wrap,
Yeah. God.
and yeah, we recycle it, so we just use all the plastic.
Mm. But you have to
But-
go to
Yamaya,
import shops to get real.
Yeah, Yamaya. Yeah.
Mm.
I think they might even have hobnobs in Yamaya.
I might go. I've got
Need
some
to
time off
check.
today. I might go to Yamaya and see
Let me
what sort
check
of biscuits
next
I can
time.
get.
They definitely get digestives.
Have they? Chocolate ones?
Or there's definitely some McVitie's things going on, or seem to remember.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do with this?
What's going on with Gnomoria? Are you not
It's
playing it?
fucked. See, this happens occasionally. I don't know why certain things happen. So, crude workbench.
Okay.
I don't know why certain things happen. That's right. This thing can make planks. So, craft plank, please. I need a plank. Craft another plank. Make a few planks. So someone's going to come down and make that plank. But up here, it's telling me I need task builder. Well, you need 4 blocks and 4 planks.
For what?
Blocks.
And 4 planks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how would I go about making a block? I cannot remember.
I don't know.
So, can you search the help? That would be very helpful. Huh? See, I thought a block would just mean any dirt. I think it's been couple of months now, probably 3 months since I last played Gnomoria. I used to play a shitload of it, but then I started playing through all the Game of the Year stuff that I thought I might want to talk about. I still didn't get through half the list.
No.
So I can't remember how you get a block. You could be Googling this. I'm trying to stall. How to
What
get
you doing?
block Gnomoria. I'll do it.
How to get block?
Both frantically jump to block.
I want to win. Items. Jump to block. Block.
All rock must be cut into blocks before being crafted.
Aha!
So
Really?
How'd you do that? Where to find it?
Oh.
Craft it. So before I can make blocks, which are required to make the thingamajig, I also need to build a stone cutter. Because that's where you make the blocks. But to build a stone cutter, you need... Okay, what do I need? Chisel? Workbench, chair, and chisel. Can I make all those things on the crude workbench? Workbench, chair, and chisel. Yes. So I can just use the crude workbench to make everything I need to make a stone cutter. Once I have a stone cutter, I can use a plank made at the workbench and a block made at the stone cutter, which will then make my well, which will then provide everyone with water. I can also drink milk. Milk, you get a lot more... What's the opposite of thirst? Satiation. Quenchedness. From... You get a lot more of that from drinking milk. But obviously 2 yaks can only produce so much milk. Eventually the yaks will produce offspring. When I first started, I wanted to play the real version of Gnomoria, so I would play it with bad guys on, and every year you'd get new gnomes coming from, like what do they call them? Nomads with a G.
Mm.
And then so they come and join your little settlement. But you also get in, I think in winter or something like that, you get no, not gnomes, orcs and goblins. I think goblins showing up, and they come and attack your gnomes. They come and attack your yaks. And because you don't have any military jobs set up yet, because you haven't mined and you haven't made weapons, so you never have any of that stuff ready to go by the time you get to the first attack. And they just slaughter your, like, they'll chew through maybe 2 or 3 of your gnomes before someone finally takes them down. And that's quite interesting when that happens. You basically get an event log of what happened in the fight, and it'll say things like, your gnome chopped off, bashed them with an axe and chopped off the goblin's left arm. The goblin picks up his severed arm and clubs your gnome with it, and things like that. You get like quite an interesting little randomly generated story of what happens in the fight. So that's quite entertaining. But yeah, so I've learned that I basically cannot play Gnomoria. Yeah, I'm not good enough and efficient enough. I'm not good at getting the area set up fast enough so that I can withstand being attacked fairly early on. But you end up seeing people do is round all the edges, which is where the baddies appear. They build little pens all the way around. So little W shapes all the way around the edge of the map, so that when something appears, it's just trapped and it can't go anywhere. So they put little block walls up, so it'll just live there forever until they decide to open it up and have a fight. And then when new gnomes show up, they might get trapped in one of those little bubbles. They just delete the block and let the gnome come and join them, and then seal it back up again. Which to me is just like, why bother? Why not just play with all the baddies off? I wish you could specify that you don't want baddies to show up until maybe 6 years into the process, when you've got weapons and you've got
prepared,
a militia. But they show up in the second year, and you're just a bit screwed. You don't have the required stuff to be able to do it. So it's kind of annoying. So now someone's
you work fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You need to get into this rhythm of knowing what to build right at the start of a game, and it is a case of click. I mean, not quite. It's nowhere near the speed of StarCraft or anything like that. But you need to have, unless you want to pause and keep tabbing out and going to Wikipedia or whatever, or nomoriawiki.com as it is, to look at the sort of the build order of what you need to build the next thing. You kind of need to have it in your brain ready to go. So you sort of like make this, then make this. I mean, you can at the start of the game. I could have set the order to build the workbench and set the order to build the stone cutter and set the order to build the well. I could have done that in the first 10 seconds, and they won't do a job until they have the things required to do a job. And it's a really complex.
That's what I did. That's what happened to me. I tried to build all that kind of shit. And
it is quite
a
deep, complex system of prioritizing things.
Getting all the materials. Yeah.
So to build this, you need this, and we don't have that, so we'll need to make that. But we don't have the things required to even have that yet. So it sort of works its way back up the list, and it makes the most advanced thing it can with what it has, if you know what I mean. So it'll, if it would have eventually built everything, but I feel like I'm more in control when I set the build orders in the order that, it's kind of, I set the logic out in my own brain. And
micromanaging?
Yeah, in a way. When maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just do... I should spend 5 minutes at the start saying, right, make this, 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 and this, go. And maybe I would have everything ready to set up and start mining for, ore, which could then be used to make weapons and things. So all these pieces that are required to build the well now are being brought out. So it's one person's job to come and dump them, and another person will then come and build the well with all the pieces that have been, like, all the stones that have been pre-cut and everything. So there's all the stone, someone's bringing the wood, and then once they're all in place ready to go, someone will then build it. So you can see it's raining, and the water table is actually real and modelled. So if I were to dig underground and dig a really long tunnel up to the water, and then delete that, dig into that last block, the water would then flood underneath, and the water table would go down.
Go in there,
in this bit of water,
Flood your mines.
So he's come to make this well, and he's actually fallen asleep.
Does the water table rise if it rains all the time?
I think it does, or maybe there's a certain amount of rain, and it's to do with volume. Maybe it's sort of generated by, this place has a certain amount of rain. But so sort of the size of the area will define maybe how much water there is. It's relatively complex systems going on, and that's what makes it really interesting. As silly as it looks, it is kind of realistic. It's basically an outpost or a sort of sort of colony, you know. That's what it's managing that, and it tickles me. I like that sort of thing. I love reading stories about. I've just started reading Red Mars, which is about colonizing Mars for the first time, when the first 5,000 people to show up and start colonizing Mars. And I really love getting into the nitty gritty of sort of planning a civilization from the outset and trying to make sort of the perfect, most efficient world. That kind of, I enjoy that a lot, and this game sort of is that. So
taps into it.
It's definitely going to be somewhere on my Game of the Year. It's at the very least an honourable mention.
Cool, that's good.
But I've got to play Gone Home. I've got to play Stanley Parable. And there's maybe...
I bought that in the sales. I bought loads of games in the sales. I was talking about it in the podcast. But you weren't there.
Because it was my birthday. It's my birthday tomorrow, in fact. But I was out for my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to your mum today.
Yeah.
And tomorrow,
She got me as a
so
birthday.
So it is, I got a Facebook thing saying, don't forget your birthday. But I remembered it anyway, honestly.
Yeah. I remember on your last birthday, you deleted yourself from Facebook because you didn't want the fakos saying happy birthday.
Yeah, I don't like that shit, man. But what turned out to be a really depressing birthday where nobody fucking wished me a happy birthday because everyone just relies on Facebook now to their memory.
So you take it as an insult that no one remembers when your birthday is?
I got a couple. No, not an insult, no. I wasn't insulted. I was just very sad and depressed. No, I mean the important people remember, don't they?
But so you've told me when your birthday is, and I've forgotten it, and it's no slight on you.
I'm not saying you're not important, but you didn't. Why would you know my birthday?
You've told me, and I think I did say happy birthday.
It was in the summer. It was in the summer.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't help me remember. I don't remember your birthday because I'm stupid, not because I don't like you.
I was helping you.
It's in the summer. Is it the 12th of June?
I didn't expect you to remember or no, so it's different, isn't it?
Well,
it's in August.
I remember my girlfriend's birthday, my mum's, my dad's, my brother's, and mine. And I remember one of my friends from primary schools. They're literally all and it's not because I'm friends with him now. It's just one of the first birthdays I ever remembered. So I continue to remember that it's the 4th of August.
The only people, the people that I expected to remember all remembered, so it was fine.
All right. I'm just saying, some of my closest friends...
I mean, I don't always do that or anything. I just took a wee notion of just hiding my birthday from everyone. At that particular time, Facebook pisses me off in different ways at different times of the day, times of the year. At that moment in time, I just didn't want loads of happy birthdays from people that, wouldn't have remembered anyway.
Maybe that's fair enough.
I probably won't do it this year because it feels nice to get hundreds of happy birthdays as well.
So you've completely disproven your own point.
I'll do a 360 and 180 on the whole thing. But I might 360 by then. Yeah, 180 by this
You'll end up at the same point again.
6 months. Yeah.
Just an annual cycle.
It's funny though, I remove myself from Facebook, like deactivate it now and again. And it seemed to be like a couple of years running. The point where I wanted to deactivate it was October, and I did it for the whole of October, 2 years in a row.
Is that because
I didn't do that
posting Halloween pictures?
No, it's just that's the point. It takes me 1 year exactly to get pissed off with it enough again.
Breaking point.
Obviously, so yeah. It was just a coincidence. I didn't think, it's October again.
Fucking October.
I just remembered. I think it was a friend of mine that pointed it out. Actually, you did this last year. Or something, I don't know, but it was the same time.
So what topics have we got coming up? We're going to do
the next top topic.
The list of games that I want to play while we make these, because what are these videos? The point was to be very chilled out, and it's almost a podcast while we play a game. That's sort of what I was thinking.
Well, that was always going to happen, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Except this is more of just a chat than what have you been playing this week, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We don't do any of that shit.
I'm not going to talk about what games I played or bought because that's all I talked about in the podcast.
Yeah, we do have the podcast.
And the Steam sales,
So,
but what game are you looking forward to? Like you said, there's fuck all in the PlayStation 4 to make you buy one. Is there any game coming or? I mean, obviously, No Man's Sky.
There's the
So
two.
they get flooded.
Yeah.
So.
No Man's Sky. Holy shit!
Is that coming now because they get a flood and lost everything?
It was all backed up elsewhere. Apparently, their offices got flooded, but they're all good.
Cool. It should probably delay it by a month or so.
It didn't even delay Joe Danger Infinite coming out. That came out like a week later.
Yeah, that was probably already away to get mastered.
Possibly.
Mastered? Do the master software?
Yeah. It's gone gold.
The mastering studio.
Which means they've emailed it to Apple. So yeah, that'll be all right. And the two Ubisoft ones, the what the hell are they called now? The Hacker Man.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, that one. Hacker Man.
Hacker Man. No, that's a rugby game, isn't it? In New Zealand.
And then there's the Tom Clancy's really pretty world where it's all constantly online and exciting game.
Oh yeah, right? The Division. Yeah, that's probably my most hotly anticipated. But we shouldn't say it. I mean, we've only seen a demo that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So these are games that need to prove themselves still in a way.
But I like the look of it.
Yeah, and there's
I wouldn't want to get ahead of myself, but that's going to be fucking brilliant. That game, definitely.
It's going to definitely probably the greatest game ever made.
I'm going to pre-order it
right now. So let me bring up some game release dates then, and let's have a look. I'll do a quick search through the list. There's not an awful lot going on in this Memoria game. They've built everything.
No, you're right though about they'll get on with their work. But there's not really anything. I was looking through I was on Zavi, to see if I should buy a game and get it delivered, and most of the games are obviously, for pre-order, but even those ones didn't look that exciting.
Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is coming out, which I think is going to flop surely because people are still playing the most recent Assassin's Creed.
When's that coming out?
Rimcap, 15th. 2 days, apparently.
On what?
PC?
PS4?
I guess it's going to be PS4 and PC. I'm guessing. So Don't Starve came out on PS4. There's one for you. There's one reason. Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that already. Yeah.
It's going to come out on 31st of January. Have you played Tomb Raider yet?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, still haven't finished it.
Have you got it on PC?
Kind of get bored of it. Yeah.
Well, that's coming out on PS4.
I'm not buying the fucking definitive edition. That'll just be almost as good as my PC version.
March, Infamous Second Son, supposed to be out for PS4. The Crew, which is that drive-in one.
Yep. But we're going to get Drive Club for free, aren't we? At some point.
They're sort of shooting
Thief?
themselves in
How
the
about
foot
Thief?
there,
aren't they?
I can't get excited about it. It just looks like it looks like Dishonored without any of the personality. To be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, on PC. Here's a PC game for you. Men of War Assault Squad 2. I bloody loved Men of War Assault Squad. Men of War Assault Squad. Did you like Company of Heroes? Original.
Yeah, it's alright, yeah. But I think it was too... I've got it, but I got it too late to want to play it.
Men of War...
I've got all the DLC for it.
Men of War Assault Squad is
Men of War.
Really, really good. And you're a bit more involved. You can actually drive the tanks around. You can actually physically control them. That's the game. There's the Badger. There was one coming out in February, and I've just seen what it is. Banished, which is effectively No Moria, but pretty. So
cool.
It's a game made by one dude, and he, maybe he said what his name is, and you could find out who he used to work for and things like that. But he's an experienced game developer. He's worked for other companies, and he's made Banished on his own over the course of 2 years, I think. It was about a year ago. He just made a blog post, and I read it, and he said, I'm going to start making this game. Here's a few screenshots, or sort of almost, I guess, they were sort of made in some sort of engine at the time. And it looks like Viking-y-ish, sort of Nordic, very snowy, and it's kind of similar sort of camera angle to No Moria. And it's populous civilization-y kind of town building.
Where the fuck's all your gnomes?
Where the shit are my gnomes? They're foraging. Everyone's foraging their arse.
Oh, they are. Right. Get them to build something.
I could, you're right.
So, okay, well, how about this then? Dying Light. Do you know anything about that?
Yes.
It's coming out on the 28th of March.
Is that coming out on PC as well?
I don't know.
Let me look it up. I imagine maybe it's not. Titanfall's out in March.
PS4.
See, shit's kicking off in March. Dark Souls 2.
Mad
Titanfall.
Max on the 31st of March.
Is Dark Souls 2 coming out earlier for PS3? Is that meant to be out soon?
I'll need to look and see.
Because it's supposedly out in March on PC.
Ooh.
War of the Vikings? That's already out, isn't it?
PS3 pre-order.
Yearwalk on
of
PC.
March.
There's one.
14th of March.
Yeah, 13th
Yearwalk.
on PC apparently. So yeah, Yearwalk's
One day.
out in March.
But what about the PS4 version of Dark Souls 2? Is that not a thing yet? Surely.
I
Surely.
think that's why people are hanging on to their PS3s, isn't it? Because it's not been announced for PlayStation 4.
I'm not getting it for PS3. I'm not interested in playing it on PS3. I'll play it on the PC if that's all there is. It's £10 cheaper, £11 cheaper.
And it's
get it on PC.
But the last one,
And there's a graphic novel with a pre-order as well.
Dark Souls 1, was really crap. It was like a really shoddy port to the PC.
On the PC? Yeah.
But they have admitted that, so
terrible.
maybe they'll put more effort in. I don't know.
No. Well, I think the problem is they didn't intend to ever make a PC version, so they didn't have the people there with the skills. Plus, they had to kind of backwards engineer it a bit, and the textures and all that would have been probably saved in a resolution for 720p consoles.
Yeah, exactly. So a certain distance, you need
So,
to have a certain level of detail, right?
yeah,
And they just
and they didn't have the expertise, but I think now they've sorted that out because they could have made a lot more money on it. I'm sure they did make a lot of money anyway, because obviously they get that mod that fixes it to a certain extent. It actually looks pretty decent when you get that mod installed.
Yeah, it does.
The DS fix.
But still, I feel like I shouldn't have to bail them out of bad development by installing a mod. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. But that's what they did. Offered us, and I wouldn't have bought it. Well, probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't for that mod. So hopefully they've got someone who can mod it as they make it. As they make the second one. I'd be really surprised if they don't put it on PS4 as well.
Exactly, they're going to make a high-res version of it anyway on this, obviously.
Well, if they're making the PC version properly, then it's already there. So they just need to do their right hardware side.
Yeah. So. It's kind of one of those things where I have a nice PC, I'll continue to use said nice PC, and that's
we've got Oculus Rift coming, so there's no point in throwing away the PCs yet, because that might be the only place you can use it. Did you see the Sony new what was it called? TMZ
4K or something?
Head display? No, the headset. Oculus Rift.
To be honest, I haven't actually caught up with what the hell's happened at CES. So maybe
CES. They unveiled that. I remember that Kaz Hirai was winking and laughing when they were talking about Oculus Rift for PS4. So
rather than
they were possibly going to announce their own one last year.
I was assuming that they were going to work in partnership, but they just we've copied it.
No, well, they've been working on it for a long time. I keep going on about this. The last, not the Tokyo Game Show you guys just went to there in September, but the year before they were showing a head-mounted display with a camera in the front, so you can have augmented shit. Like you see out the camera in the front.
Oh right, so it sees what you see and puts things in the real world.
Yeah, puts that on the screen, and then you can have so you're looking at what you would see without a headset, but there's computer generated stuff floating about. That would be pretty amazing, I think, if they got it right. It would need to be a really good camera in the front, 2 cameras.
Yeah, that's
so
the
it's
thing.
3D.
It would need to
and high quality.
Ooh, what's this I found?
But they unveiled. They've got a new one. The 3rd generation of their head display. What do you call it? Head-mounted display.
Yeah, I guess.
head tracking, but it's got head tracking, and it's 720p, which isn't quite as good as the Oculus Rift. It's 1080, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is going to be. Yeah, eventually. The one they've got in people's hands now isn't, but it's the same as.
It's not even 720, I think.
Yeah, what's it called? The Google. What the hell's it called?
Google Glass.
Yeah, that is like the really shitty version of it, isn't it? Oh, raw
But
Sapphire.
so Sony unveiled
Sapphire's
it, but they didn't have games you could play. I think it was just videos. But you could look around in the video.
Yeah, I mean,
And it was
eventually.
only 180 degrees, it wasn't 360 and
Mm.
stuff. But it was wireless,
You know what I'm looking forward to?
which the Oculus Rift is.
When headsets and 3D are so sort of normal, they're so commonplace that you know how we get crappy 3D versions of films now. I'm looking forward to when they make films where it still keeps cutting between the scenes and things like that, but you can move your head, you can look around.
I had a conversation with my friend about that very thing, like at the beginning of last year, I think it was, and he was saying it would be shit because the director wants you to look at a certain thing. That's the point in the director.
Yeah.
And I said, no, but it'd be cool if
it'd be a different medium. Like, it wouldn't just be a converted film. They would have to have. They would have the normal cameras there with the sort of the traditional film being made, and they'd also have these ridiculous 3D cameras that capture everything in the room, and almost make it a game engine style environment, which you can.
Imagine a movie like, for example, 12 Angry Men. Right? Have you seen that?
No.
Classic. Well, it's all in one room, the whole movie.
Right.
But imagine that movie, but you can just walk around.
Yeah, even if you're allowed to move as well.
That actual movie, they could map the characters into 3D models, and then have it act out. You know, like the 2D film is mapped onto the characters, so you can walk around them and watch them act it out.
Even
that would be cool. Like one room movies.
The sort of the stage we have in between being able to fully walk around and do that, because that effectively becomes a game if you have some sort of influence over where you can be and things like that. I'd be interested.
Well, you're just a ghost floating around. You can't interact with them.
Yeah, you could sort of.
But then the next stage would be you can interact, like Ghost, the movie Ghost.
But you're just one of the ghosts with a film and they react to this AI.
You have to learn to flick a mug over or something. Remember, he's flicking the bottle cap. He has to learn how to do it.
He's like concentrating really hard.
Ghost, the game.
You know what? Ghost's a good film. Should we end on that note? Everyone should go and watch Ghost.
That is pretty good.
That's the homework.
That is a good film. I'm going to go watch that again.
Patrick's I might watch it tonight. Watch it tonight. It's day off, isn't it? Have you had a day off today?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I did, yeah.
National holiday, whatever it is.
No, it's
someone's
after
birthday,
the
is
time
it?
I would have finished.
President? What's his name?
It's the day where children become adults.
Ah, yeah, so as of now,
if you're
all
20 years old,
adults.
provided they're 20.
All the 20-year-olds go, whoa, I want a mortgage.
Holy shit. So if you're 20 today, happy birthday. But if you're not, fuck you. Get out. Go back to school.
Fucked. Jesus.
Yeah.
So this is Tea and Biscuits and Gnomoria. This has been. We might do another episode on Gnomoria when it's a bit further along, maybe, or whatever. We're going to play some other stuff. At the moment on the list we've got this, Prison Architect, Starbound, and Don't Starve. So any suggestions? And?
Goddess.
Oh, all right. I'll stick
Did you
that
buy
on the
that?
list. No, but you did.
That? I was going to stick that in the list, but it was on my phone and it didn't work.
Fair enough. So go to kaijupop.com. You can see it on the screen now. My personal blog, which is, I don't know, photography.
Don't advertise your personal blog.
Why not? give me 4 good reasons.
Kaiju Pop.
Yeah, this is going to be. This video will be up on Kaiju Pop and YouTube. You can stalk me. I'm Spacing Dave on everything, basically. You can stalk CJ. He is. Are you Kiss the Robot everywhere?
Yeah, everywhere.
On Twitter and things like that.
Look behind you.
He's there. He's in your house, kissing robots.
Just kidding.
If you got let us if you've got any ideas about things we could. We're still not really sure what the format of this is. Just have a natter while we play something that's relatively chilled out and slow paced. I think it's almost like another podcast in a way.
Talking.
Any suggestions? I don't know. Say it on the comments in this video or on the website or something. I don't know.
Let me know. Phone me.
Just like if you stalk us both on all those social platform things, then there's gonna be a way for you to get in touch. I don't need to specify what method you should use. You're not a baby.
Uh-huh. Come
God,
on,
God.
grow up.
Grow the fuck up, will you? Jesus. Thanks for watching.